Walk the walk. Your confidence and aura is on another level. Could we see a run as a light heavyweight?
Nah, we ain't going out that much.
Now, would you consider going back down to 154 and face Jaron Ennis, the guy who prepared Canelo Alvarez for this fight?
Nope. I ain't going down 154.
It's the week after the big fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence "Bud" Crawford. We had our Canelo vs. Crawford epilogue episode. We had some technical difficulties. And now I'm going to conclude what I really wanted to say in this video.
I need y'all to get the likes up, man. Get the likes up. Smash the like button.
But Terence "Bud" Crawford, man, he did what I told you guys that he was going to do. I told you guys that he was going to go up there and make it look easy against Canelo Alvarez. A lot of people probably thought I sounded crazy saying that, right? I could be sure that most people thought, wow, this dude is crazy, right? Hit that like button, man. A lot of people probably thought your boy Bushido was crazy when I was telling you Crawford's going to watch this dude. I've been saying this for years, that long before this fight even happened, right? Long before any of this stuff even happened, I've been telling people if Crawford was a middleweight fighter, he'll beat Canelo Alvarez easy work. Sure enough, it happens years later. Crawford actually moves up to 168 pounds. First time at the weight class. It was so much uncertainty. Is he going to be able to handle the weight? He never been here before. He hasn't fought in over a year. Yada, yada, yada. He answered every question with flying colors and put up a spectacular performance and arguably the biggest fight of his career. Top Canelo sometime late in the fight. If not, I expect Bud to put up a massive performance nonetheless. I don't think Canelo stands a chance. And that sounds kind of crazy, but that's just what I strongly believe. I think Crawford's going to put up a massive performance and watch the shot of this dude. Shut Canelo Alvarez out. Some people said it was 10-2. I said it was more like a 3-9 type of fight, right? It's 3-9-3, 8-4 type of fight, right? Just to be fair, some people probably got a lot more wider than that, right? But Terence "Bud" Crawford handled Canelo Alvarez. He handled everything Canelo Alvarez was able to bring in the ring and that much more. To the point where Canelo Alvarez had no excuses after the fight.
We already know, we knew Crawford is a great fighter, and I did what I supposed to do, right? I tried for every way, and I trained really hard, and he deserved all the credit. No, I try my best tonight, and I just cannot figure out the style.
Canelo had literally no excuses after the fight. He had nothing that he could say to try to sway the people's opinion on what they saw. Nah, Canelo Alvarez humbly accepted defeat, right? It was total contrast from how he felt about the Dimitri Bivol fight, where he felt that he won and, he wanted to, and all that. Nah, with Crawford, he was like, nah, man, this dude got me. I tried everything, and then he was just good. He was just too good. He's even actually way better than Mayweather, right? Canelo actually came out and said that Terence Crawford is better than Floyd Mayweather.
Of comparisons that we live in right now, if you can compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence "Bud" Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
That's something that we're going to have to kind of discuss. But I will argue that Crawford has a strong case actually being better than Floyd Mayweather. If you was to put them guys in a welterweight division against each other, who will come out on top, right? You got to ask yourself these questions. Who will come out on top if they fought at welterweight? You got to also remember the southpaw stance that Crawford usually employs. It kind of eliminates the shoulder roll is kind of useless against the southpaw stance.
How do you feel you compare with Floyd with the resume you have now?
Listen, Floyd was the greatest in his era. I'm the greatest in my era. It ain't no need to compare me to Floyd or Floyd to me.
Terence Crawford, man. The Canelo fans didn't show up, right? They didn't show up. You know, and the thing is, I was going to show up regardless. Most of us was going to show up regardless of what happened because that's just how we roll, right? But a lot of these Canelo fans who was new on the channel or who have been stopping by just to antagonize everybody, they didn't show up at all. A lot of the Mexican Canelo fans didn't show up to congratulate. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them just completely disappeared. Right? They fade into the background. They never really was truly boxing fans. They was just rocking for their guy because he was shining bright, because he was at the top, right? It wasn't nothing about boxing for them. They were just rooting for their guy. And then they slowly fade back into the bushes like Homer Simpson. Like nothing ever happened. All these big channels saying that Crawford don't stand a chance, that he's too small, he hasn't fought in a long time, he didn't even beat me, Jamal, why he's going to beat Canelo.
Max Kellerman called you the GOAT of this era in the post-fight. After everything you've been through, man, what was like hearing those words?
Hey, listen, like I said, the great things come to those who wait. You know, the cream always rise to the top. All the time that they blocked me out, they said I wasn't fighting nobody, I can't beat this dude, I can't beat that dude. Every time that I got a chance, I wiped the floor with him. Wiped the floor with him. So just imagine where I would have been at today if I had got them opportunities a long time ago. But then again, it wasn't my time. My time is now. And I'm happy that everything played out the way it did. And you're looking at the undisputed champion of the world right now.
You know, all this stuff, and he went out there and washed them. To the point where you got to eat your crow. You got to be humble. You got to say, man, that's the bro, man. He's the guy. He's the GOAT. Right? What's next for Terence Crawford? I've been seeing people say that Benavidez should be next. And, you know, guys already jumping the gun and fighting Benavidez. Team Crawford said, look, man, we ain't doing none of that. We sitting on this belts for a while, and then we go decide what we go do. We got the juice now. We call the shots now. We are the face of boxing now.
Benavidez.
Who, Canelo?
Turkey, people, people are talking about it.
Turkey hinted at that. He was like Benavidez.
Yeah, he
Turkey,
did.
So.
Turkey just posted that this morning, wondering if Benavidez can make 168. Maybe he has plans or ideas of maybe trying to match up Benavidez and Terence Crawford.
No,
there.
man. No, I ain't doing that fight.
Maybe.
Right? So Crawford could kind of do whatever he wants now. He came, he took all the glory, right? And the funny thing is, man, it's funny that in his biggest fights, he put up the best performances to where he pretty much got through these fights unscathed. When you look at the Errol Spence fight, didn't have a scratch on him. You look at the Canelo fight, he only sustained a cut, which from a accidental headbutt. He didn't have no lumps, no swelling and nothing. But when you look at him in the Mijamal fight, he looked kind of swollen up, right? It's funny that Crawford's even admits himself that the biggest puncher he faced was Mean Machine.
What was his power like? Have you been hit by anybody that strong before?
I've been hit harder.
No, in a real fight, not a
In
sparring.
a real fight. Not Avanesian, but Mean Machine hit harder than Canelo to me. To be honest.
Terence.
He said that Mean Machine actually hits way harder than Canelo. So a lot of the stuff that fans assume is only assumption. We can only assume that this guy was better than these guys. We can only assume that a lot of those PBC fighters is better than some of those top-ranked guys. Those are all assumptions. But as we saw when these guys get in the ring, some of these unknown guys, you know, do better than some of the big-name guys. That's just kind of how it goes. That's just kind of how it goes. Nijamov put up a better performance than Canelo Alvarez did, right? Mijamal put up a better performance than Errol Spence did. These are much bigger names, much more popular fighters. But the week after, what's next? What's next for Canelo Alvarez? Canelo Alvarez said he's going to keep going on. I think Canelo Alvarez will still be able to draw a crowd regardless until he decides to retire. I think he will go down as a beloved fighter. All good things must come to an end. It's not like Canelo Alvarez was an unbeaten fighter, right? He has been beaten before, but a lot of people just didn't think Terence Bud Crawford can do it. A lot of people just didn't think that the smaller guy who was originally a lightweight, who never fought at the weight before, taking a big jump, right? It's something that's really hardly ever done in a sport successfully. They just didn't think he can do it. But I think deep down, Canelo Alvarez knew this was coming. The day he signed that contract, he knew that that loss was coming. You can see it in his eyes. This is why he wanted a lot of money to fight Terence Bud Crawford. This is why Manny Pacquiao wanted a lot of money to fight Terence Bud Crawford. This is why, people. This is why there was imaginary lines of the street drawn. All this. Now you see why. Now you see clearly. Now you see what your boy Bushido been telling you guys for years about Terence Crawford. There's a reason why his peers look up to him. Even some great fighters in their own right, like Usyk and all these guys, right? There's a reason why they drew that imaginary line across the street, right? There's a reason why they had to use the politics of boxing to try to keep this guy down, to keep him out the way. Now you see why. Now you see why. This was literally destined. This was literally meant to happen. Throughout everything that went down over the years when we talking Terence Bud Crawford, the whole Errol Spence saga and him dealing with PBC and him trying to get a fight with those guys over there. That whole saga itself, you know, told us that, man, this dude, there's a reason why these guys don't want him in position. And sometimes I think now, let this be a lesson to everybody in boxing. Sometimes all a guy needs is an opportunity. Sometimes that's all that's needed is an opportunity, right? That's the more. I think that's the lesson to be learned here, and the moral of the story. All a guy needs is an opportunity. Terence Bud Crawford had to really grind hard to get in this position, to get these opportunities. A lot of fighters didn't get these opportunities. Gary Russell Jr., Demetrius Andrade, they may have gotten the opportunities, but a little bit later and not at the right time, right? Or they didn't get the opportunities at all, right? Some younger fighters who may be up and coming may never get a chance to truly shine, right? Because it's all about getting things done at the right time, right? So Terence Bud Crawford was one of the fortunate ones that was lucky enough for the stars to align for him to able to push forward in the sport of boxing, which could be very, very, very political, to the point where politics of boxing could beat a fighter out of the game, right? To where where his opposition, his foes, his peers, his colleagues, his rivals, they could use the politics of boxing just to beat him out of the game without even stepping in the ring with him, right? So, yeah, let this be a lesson, man. Sometimes all the guy needs is an opportunity. Terence Bud Crawford wanted the opportunity. He actually got the opportunity, and he made the best of the opportunity, right? He made the absolute best of it. They said Jamel Charlo, or if Charlo can't do it, Crawford can't do it, right? But now we see that Terence Bud Crawford, man, he's been hopping literally every hurdle that's been put in front of him, whether it's the politics or actually in the damn ring. But yeah, man, Terence Bud Crawford did his thing. The week after the fight, everybody had time to process and digest what happened. All the little highlight videos was out, the little breakdowns of the good work that was put in the fight. And yeah, man, it was a really good night. A lot of the Canelo fans didn't show up, man. They didn't show up, man, but it's okay. It's expected. You know, I expected these guys not to show up because, well, they're cowards. But yeah, man, salute to Canelo Alvarez because he's definitely not a coward. You know, he gave it his all. He took a chance. You know, it was a big chance. And coming up, giving a guy like Terence Crawford the opportunity, a dangerous fighter like Terence Bud Crawford an opportunity, a smaller fighter opportunity. But he gave him the opportunity nonetheless. But salute to everybody. Terence Bud Crawford, man. The GOAT. He's going to go down as one of the greatest of all time. And this is definitely the Terence Bud Crawford era. Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.